CIG has put up a Q&A thread for the Mantis when they stick out a new ship, like the Mantis, which is the new Interdictor. They ask people for their questions, and then they go through the top voted questions and answer them. I have no patience to wait for the answers, so I'm going to do the questions and answers for you. Let's go take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am Montoya. The Q&A thread has been put up, and I see CIG Molly, who is new to CIG. She is on the, I don't even know what her position is, but welcome, Molly. Good to have you. So, as always, to put up a Q&A thread, you post a question. The most upvoted questions then gets answered. I thought we'd run through them. I think some of them are pretty obvious, and we'll take a stab at them. So, beginning with the very first one. From Hexcoder, and Hexcoder is asking, why did Gamestar and Newsweek readers find out about the ship before we did here on Spectrum? Great question, Hex, and it is the most upvoted, as you can see, so a lot of people agree with that. I answered this in my previous video about the Mantis. It's the first thing I said, that's interesting, why is Newsweek getting this? And the answer I gave, I'm going to save you the click to go see my previous video, even though you should. I'll save you the click. The story is, and how I explained it, is hate bait. Now, hate bait brings in traffic. What hate bait is when you're a journalist and you write an article with negativity, people are more likely to go read that. You do it. Admit you do. Know that game you like, that game you really enjoy playing? When is the last time you went to Reddit or wherever, saw an article saying 5 things which are really cool about that game you like? When did you ever click that? But if you went to Reddit or some social media site and you saw a headline saying 5 things we absolutely hate about insert game you like, I guarantee you clicked on it, outraged. Why do people hate this? Journalists know this. Now, when you are working at a company like Newsweek, for example, and you need content, you know that if you write something with negativity, you will get the clicks. You'll get the clicks from people who hate the game and agree, and you'll get the clicks from people who love the game and go, why do you hate my game? It works well. Forbes, as we all know, works very well with their articles, and there's been a lot, let's not kid, there's been a lot of journalists out there which use it with Star Citizen, saying, oh, there's a new ship and it's not in game, they promised 100 star systems, there's only 1 star system, it's the end of the world. Negativity works. Negativity works very, very well. That's why they keep doing it. So how do you break the cycle? How do you show a journalist they don't have to be negative to get the traffic? And this is what CIG has done here. They approached Gamestar, they approached Newsweek, and they said to them, listen, guys, what we're going to do is give you the scoop. We will send all our traffic to you. You don't have to be overly positive. You can be completely neutral, which is what Newsweek did. Here's the Mantis. This is what the Mantis does. It's interdiction. This is how far the range is. It's quantum interdiction. It's quantum snaring. This is the range. End of story. Completely neutral. But what's happened is everyone, including myself and probably you too, went to Newsweek to read it. So they got the eyeballs, they got the clicks, they get the ad revenue from us all visiting with not an ounce of negativity. So that is the strategy, and it's an interesting one, and I think it's one which works well. Basically, they're saying, hey, you play ball with us, we'll play ball with you, send you the traffic without any need for negativity. Good concept. We'll yet to see. We'll see how it pans out, but for this reason, that's why it went there, and I think overall, the positivity is a new angle, which I think they should try. Next question coming from Mindstealth. Hey, Mindstealth, how you doing? From Alianze Astrale, if I pronounce that correctly. My Italian, let me just confirm that. Alianze Astrale. Yes, my wife would kick my butt if I mispronounce Italian words. So, hey, if you are Italian speaking and you're looking for an Italian org, drop by Alianze Astrale and Mindstealth will be more than happy to speak to you in your native language. Great org. And he's asking, will we be able to fit interdiction devices on other ships? I would say no. The reason I say that is they want the Mantis to be the interdiction ship. Now, will other manufacturers make their own interdiction ships? Possibly. But for the time being, I would say no. This is specific to this ship, much the same way that a mining ship has to have the mining laser, like the Prospector. An interdiction ship is specifically built to hold this interdiction device. CIG, back me up on that. Eric is asking, will someone using a Mantis gain a crime stat for pulling people out of QT? Great question, Eric. I would say yes. If you are in UEE space, you can't simply stop every single person for no reason. Now, if you stop someone with a crime stat, that is fine. So if someone has a bounty on them and you stop them, that is okay. But if you are in lawless space, feel free, go nuts, doesn't make a difference. You can stop anyone you like. So I do feel that if you are in UEE jurisdiction, no, you can't just stop people randomly. You will get a crime stat. That is the kind of balance I'm seeing, saying it's safe to travel in certain areas. But once you go outside of this area, you're at risk by being stopped people with a Mantis. Sir Berticus, good name. Why would the UEE allow such ships to be sold to regular civilians? Again, I just mentioned bounty hunters. If someone has a bounty on them and you want to capture them, why should you not use an interdiction ship? Now, I know what you're getting at. He's saying this is only going to be used for griefing and for nefarious purposes by people like pirates. Look, there might be civilian uses for it too. The bounty hunting for one, someone has stolen stuff from another place, you want to stop them. Again, this is outside of regular space, but you should stop looking at the game as I'm a regular civilian and that person's a pirate, because once the game begins, it's not going to be a clear line between what separates you from a pirate, because once you have done all the boring things, you'll be traveling out to lawless space to do things too. And it may be that you may want to stop an NPC or another player and take the cargo for something. So what is a regular civilian? Essentially, well, that's a question to be answered in the game itself. Anora Bloodshed is asking, what will the counter to this new feature be? Well, the obvious counter to that, and the most obvious one we can think of right away, if anyone's played EVE Online, is essentially don't travel in the direct path. So if you're at Port Olisar and you want to go to ArcCorp, the most obvious path is the one where people will be waiting to interdict you. What you do is you go in a different direction first. First go to OM1 and from there, jump over to ArcCorp, or travel 200 kilometers this direction and then travel down to ArcCorp. By doing that, you'll miss the major and most busiest routes, which are most likely to be where the interdictors wait for you. Other than that, I do feel that maybe it would be a good counter if you were able to somehow shore up or harden your quantum drive at the cost of sacrificing something else. So, example, at the cost of your shields. You can travel with a hardened quantum drive, but at the cost of providing power to your weapons and your shields. So you're defenseless. But you'll be able to go through quantum interdiction. I think there'll be a nice balance, but again, let's wait to see what the game has to say about that. They will have to balance things, otherwise it's just going to be a griefer's paradise. SSG is asking, how will griefing potential, speaking of griefing, how will griefing potential of the ship be mitigated? Well, I guess I answered that in the question above. Ludius, I guess. How are we supposed to ask meaningful questions within the first 30 minutes, the only time questions can reach the top, when at the time this thread was posted, we knew nothing about this ship? Okay, so, okay, that's nothing to do with the actual ship itself, but rather criticizing, didn't give us enough time to actually look and see what this ship does. Fair enough. Longshot Legion. Currently, the only feasible way to avoid encounter the ship would be to offset jumps. Yeah, I just said that. Does this mean you allow planners more flexibility with quantum travel, like placing specific jump coordinates on the map, blind jumping? Yes. I would like to see that. Bookmarking spots in space. So let's say you're leaving Port Olisar, you can bookmark a location in space, 250 clicks out, go there first, and from there, jump wherever you need, which will keep you out of the most commonly traveled paths. That is a very easy way to mitigate it, and hopefully we see that come into the game itself. Fred Kruger. We've already seen AI ships like Cutlass Blacks, Valkyries, etc. perform QT interdiction. Is it in the plan that these types of ships, as well as all ships marked interdiction ships, have capabilities too? Yeah. You know what? There were a couple of ships marked as interdiction. I strongly suspect that this will now change. I believe that the only interdiction ship will be the Mantis, and whichever manufacturer makes their own version of an interdiction ship. I do not believe a Cutlass Black or Valkyrie or any other ship we see at the moment doing these interdictions will actually be able to do that, maybe for the time being, but there will have to be a Mantis with every interdiction going forward. That's where I see it going. Hexcoda, again, seems to be a very popular question asker. Why was the choice made to work on this particular site-to-flyable ship instead of others? Good question. some backers have been waiting for a very long time, such as the Constellation Taurus, for example. All right, very simple answer there. Time versus money. They probably sat down at the table and they said, what do we need to make the Constellation Taurus work? They said, we need 50 hours. And then they said, all right, what do we need for this new mechanic, this interdiction mechanic to work? And they said, well, we need 60 hours. So obviously one's going to take more time, but what's going to happen when you complete the 50 hours of work for the Taurus, or you complete the 60 work hours for the Mantis? The thing is, the Taurus has already been sold. Everyone who wants a Taurus has probably already bought one. The Mantis is brand new. So if you're going to put in 60 work hours, what's going to give you a better bang for the buck? The Mantis with a new game mechanic, obviously. That's going to sell a lot better than a Taurus coming to the game. So I feel they made this decision just because of the amount of work hours needed and the return they can get upon that. I know people probably won't like that, but that is probably the fact of it. Karadef asking, when a ship with a new major mechanic is announced, could we have a second Q&A post rather than just a ship Q&A so that we can get the details for both ships and the new mechanic? Same as, I don't know about that. I mean, I can see them answering interdiction and ship answers at the same time. But okay, and looks like a lot of people like that. Eric asking, right now we have space on rails. Can we gain the ability to QT in any direction? That's related to the question before, so same question again. Firefly asking, with all the game loops, Firefly. Is this the same Firefly from, I mean, there could be a number of Fireflies. Is this the Firefly that wanted a refund and tried to sue CIG? Is it? But then after he failed to sue them, this is a long time ago. What was the story? He failed to sue them, and then when that happened, he went and bought more ships. Sorry if this isn't this Firefly, but the name Firefly was a guy that did that. So if it is the same guy, hello, welcome back to Star Citizen. With all the gameplay loops that haven't been delivered, medical, salvage, exploration. Oh, good question. Okay, it ties into the previous question again. Why was priority given to the mechanics and ships that serve little purpose other than break what few existing game loops are in the game now, like cargo? I don't see this breaking the cargo game loop, but I guess it does open a lot up. I guess what Firefly is referencing here is it allows more griefing than usual, that cargo runs can now be interdicted. So a very valid concern there, Firefly. But to answer the question, I kind of answered that before. They sat down and I said, here are the things we need done. We have interdiction, medical, salvage, exploration, repair, and refueling. Which one can we do the fastest? Which one can give us the best bang for the buck in the work hours needed? And again, I'm just pulling a number out of my butt here. 60 work hours to get interdiction done versus 60 work hours for medical. Now, we already have medical ships. We already have salvage ships. We have exploration ships. We have repair and refueling ships. If that to come out with the refueling mechanic, would there be a lot more sales of Starfarers? Maybe. But if you came out with a brand new mechanic, would there be a lot more sales of interdiction? Absolutely. So again, I think it's a time versus money thing, and spending the time to create this new mechanic would have brought in more money for now. And as we all know, CIG needs all the money they can. Maybe I'll do my next video on how the financial status of the company is. We'll take a look. It's been a while. Commander Jack asking, will the Mantis in the future be restricted to only being to quantum interdict ships of a certain size, or will it be able to interdict ships of the capital class? Kind of ties into the previous question too. Now, will you be able to harden your quantum drive to prevent it from being stopped? I think there'll be an interesting mechanic to come into play. Will the small Mantis be able to stop the huge Javelin? Here's an interesting mechanic. Maybe you need 2 or 3 Mantises working together to stop a Javelin. Huh? Because that way, you require people to work together to grief rather than one single person griefing. I think that is a great mechanic, and CIG should look into that. Let's stop there. I think I got the major ones. The rest of them got below 100 upvotes for that. But overall, a good batch of questions. Again, this is just my opinion. This isn't the official CIG opinion, so let's wait and see what CIG has to say on that. If you enjoy this content, as always, give me a thumbs up. Your comments below are always appreciated. A big thank you to my Patreon backers. I love you guys. And feel free to subscribe to this channel if you want to see more videos like this. I will see you in the next one.